Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to Miami Minutes. This is the only podcast that is a honorary graduate of the Colorado Outward Bound School.
Yeah.
And we're here to talk about the movie Miami Connection, 1 minute at a time. I am one of the hosts, Niall McGowan.
I'm very glad that you clearly looked up the same things I did. I am your other host, John Parker. And you know what? I don't want to talk about business. You losers, it's fun time.
No, Coach, we have to just not talk about business whatsoever. Oh, yeah, so how about all that business? Which is exactly what happens in the minutes.
To be honest, right, this is what happens in real life. You say to your friends, right, hey, we're going to have a drink. We're not going to talk about the podcast or anything like that. What happens? We talk about the podcast. You can't help yourself. Especially because these guys, you know, what's their connection other than the business?
What's their connection other than Miami?
Other than Miami and the business. We have established that clearly Jeff is in love with Yoshito. But maybe it's not reciprocated. So, you know, what's he going to do?
That's Yoshito trying to deflect, but like, oh, he keeps asking me what I'm up to this weekend. Oh, but that band Dragon Son that you're supposed to kill. What's going on there?
Oh, God, that would be so awkward. I've never been in that position because nobody likes me.
The whole scene, too, it has the same energy of like another classic interaction of, you know, so what about it? I cannot tell you, it's confidential. Anyway, how's your sex life? Like,
that to me, right, The Room, that is, listeners. If you've not seen The Room, that's from that. I think that is one of the greatest lines in cinema history because Tommy has written it sincerely.
Mm-hmm.
But it's almost like a genius comedian wrote it. You know what I mean? Like, that's confidential. So how's your sex life? That's the most confidential thing you could talk about.
I think that's probably what Tommy wants. He wants people to believe.
He wants
like,
he wants us to believe that.
It's like, well, yes, it was intentionally funny, but I do from my Facebook memories, John. I know that me and you met Greg Sestero of The Room 7 years ago tonight.
That was the second time as well.
The second time, yeah, it was the got the old the book sign and stuff by him that time. So
yeah, and I got the copy of the original script. The draft. It's not even the shooting script.
No.
I've still got it. Still got it.
Oh, yeah. He still got it.
Yeah, well, Greg still got it.
Yeah, I still got it. But anyway, we're not here to there is a Room Minutes, but it's not this show.
No.
We are here to talk about Miami Connection, and specifically Miami Connection Minute 55, which opens with some guys pulling up, and it ends with some guys drinking piss out of a cup.
I love your focus. Where I was thinking more like, you know, it's quite nice. He's simping for a smooch. And you're like, no, piss in a cup.
No, because biker bar. Just looking at it doesn't even look like a pint either. Like,
no,
what is
it
this?
looks like Bud Light.
Looks like Bud Light. There's no head on it. It just looks. Oh, no, it looks sad.
Well, that's actually, you know what? Thinking about it, it might actually be Bud Light because we make fun of Bud Light all the time on this show, and you know, we discovered through the commentary track over the last couple of minutes, this is real beer.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So
yeah.
by real beer, it's like, well, okay, is it though? It's Bud Light. It's blatantly Bud Light. It's got to be. What else? What other beer looks this terrible? I can't think of one. Even like Stella Artois, which, okay, Americans, I know you might think, oh, it's imported. Over here, that's piss.
I find a lot of beers and a lot of films just look bad. Like,
well, that's because they're usually fake.
Yeah, and you think, though, in an age where, you know, there's people who make their entire livings on being like the food photographer for, you know, takeaways or like McDonald's when you go in and like, oh, look at this burger. And then like the classic falling down scenario, Michael Douglas comes in, he's like, oh, I want that. And then they give him like this limp, horrible, like, you know, anemic looking thing.
Never looks like the picture.
No. But you think, though, for films, they'll be like, oh, you can color correct a beer to make it look a little bit more vibrant or a little bit more again, and particularly if it's the thing that's got like the cans visible somewhere, it's in the company's interest to like make sure that beer looks good. You know, don't
you
make
think so? Yeah.
Not every film can be In Bruges, which of course does have. People haven't seen In Bruges. Every time you watch it, you just want a beer. Like, it just makes the beers they're drinking look immaculate.
It was great. I mean, I am a latecomer to In Bruges. I only watched it, what was it, last year? As of recording, so 2022. And, no, it was good. I was drinking beer while I was watching it. I didn't even know that was a thing. in the movie.
Oh, every time I go near it now, I'm just like, make sure. And you can't have it in a pint glass, so you have to have it in the little kind of goblet cup, or little goblet glasses they take it out of. It's like,
yeah, that's a very traditional Belgian glass. I don't think I've got one of those. I've got a lot of glasses that I've purchased and stolen. But I don't think I've got one of them. I am going to Belgium next month, so I could maybe try and liberate one.
But yeah. So the beer and whatnot at the end of the minute. Although you do see, notably, they have the same little plastic cups they're serving in the bar, and they're also outside at the beginning of the minute when Jeff's homies roll up. They're rolling with the homies.
Well, it's like a gig, isn't it? When you go to a gig, at least in England, I don't know what it's like in America, where a lot of our listeners are, in Miami. But when you go to a gig, they often give you a plastic cup. So all around the venue and outside the venue, you'll see people with the cups. And it's just because England's a violent place and people like to throw glass.
I'm guessing, though, at this point as well, they're like, well, you're inside the bar. You think they'll serve them in the bottle, or or in a classic glass.
Well, I think it's twofold, right? I think it's in the story, they're bikers. There might be a bit of bother. Give them plastic. And
true.
Also, for shooting, this is a real biker gang. And the commentary track reveals this is actually in the next minute it reveals it. I don't care, whatever. This is their actual biker club.
Oh, well, wow.
Yeah, I know. It's not like a set, or it's not some other bar they found. It's where the bikers hang out.
Yeah.
So maybe they were like, look, you guys are going to be drinking all fucking day. We know you're going to fight. You're bikers. So come on, have the plastic. We don't want anyone losing an eye.
See, my theory is just going to be that, they give them that because, well, you're not beholden to stay in the bar then, because everyone's hanging out outside. You can also go and stand out there as well. But it does have more the vibe, though, of, knowing that there is a bar there now. The whole thing with the beginning had a kind of this is like a, what do they call them in America? The trailblazer, or they have a term for when people just get together in their trucks and just hang out in a parking lot.
Oh shit! Yeah, they do it at American football and stuff. Oh, what do you call it? Ah,
yeah, it's a trail something or other, right?
No, it's something like that. Because they have food and stuff. They eat. Oh,
yeah.
Shit, what do you call it?
Bumper. No, it's not a bumper.
Right, hang on. I'm googling this. If I just put football chili. Right. But listeners will be screaming at me, going, it's tail something? Is it tailgate?
Tailgate? A tailgate party? Is that
Let me look it up. Tailgate. Yes, it's a tailgate party. You're right.
Oh, there we go.
A tailgate party held on and around the open tailgate of a vehicle. There you go. See, that is not a thing over here.
Not at all. No,
not at all. It sounds quite cool.
Yeah. And it really got the vibe that's what this was, until you find out, no, they seem to be in the parking lot of an actual bar. So,
well, yeah, but you say an actual bar. I mean, it's the biker club. Is it really?
Yeah, but I was just more thinking, these guys are all pulling up. Like what you were talking about with Mishito probably brought, his special whiskey with him and stuff like that to win over the crowd. But now it's kind of got the vibe. Actually, maybe with a biker club, you could totally bring your own beers and hang out outside. Because if they go out to try and get rid of you, they'll break out into a fight. And there are probably people desperately trying to avoid conflict at any given turn.
Well, but yeah, plus it's it's their club. It's not a proper, I don't want to say this in a derogatory way, it's not a proper establishment, is it? I don't even think, have they even got taps for these beers? I don't think so. I think she's just emptying cans.
How dare you think Reggie's Roadhouse Shithouse has been a mainstay of the Orlando community for 57 years now.
You know what? We're jumping around a little bit. I don't care. So I'm just going to bring this up now. I'm going to have to call America out again one more time. What's with these little fucking cups? That's not a pint. That's not even close. That's like a half pint.
Yeah. And we got those ones as well. They're not even the red cups that you always get in, that seems to be a mainstay of 80s
yeah.
teen movies.
They always have them in college.
Yeah. And it seems to be like, oh, this is the standard cup you get everywhere, these red cups. And it's like, never seen them before in my entire life. Because over here, you drink it out of the can, or if you put it in a damn pint glass, that's what you do.
I've noticed lately they've become a thing here, though. Like, you can buy them in the shops, and it's like, oh, come on. I'm all for Americana, but this is ridiculous.
This is globalization at its most heinous, John. This is them trying to turn it into the American college experience. Have some pride, England, and your own college experience, your own university experience. We don't even call it college over here.
I mean, I sound like a big hypocrite. I feel like a hypocrite because I love embracing things from different parts of the world. But the difference is, I don't pretend it's my thing. I might do it and enjoy it, but I don't just suddenly pretend, oh yeah, that's always been a thing here. It's like, no. No, acknowledge I'm doing a weird American thing. You know?
Yeah. I would never be hypocritical, John, but let's talk about the sophomore minute of. That was again waiting to have access to the internet finally, because growing up.
Oh, to look it up.
Yeah, for years I was always hearing, like, what the hell is a? And I always thinking it was sophomore.
Yeah.
And like, what is a sophomore? And then looking it up, it's like, no, it's not pronounced that. And also, this is what it is. And then been so disappointed to find out that's what it was. Like, oh, I guess that's not that important. Why do they call it sophomore? What the hell is it?
I had to learn it the hard way. I moved abroad, went to an American school.
You were so dedicated to finding out what it was.
Well,
You're like,
why
I'm moving the They wouldn't take you in America. It's like, where else can I go to a high school?
So I'm in school, and all of a sudden I'm called a freshman, and I'm like, and I'm just like, what the fuck is a freshman? And then like, the people a year above me, sophomore. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And then junior and senior, I'm like, well, I mean, I know what those words mean.
You're a senior sophomore.
Jesus Christ, it was a culture shock.
Yeah,
which these little beer cups are as well. I'm disturbed. In the minute, you've said, hell yeah, immediately, it's Jeff and the gang.
Yeah.
They're party bound, and instantly, first few seconds, we get a fist pump, right?
There we go.
So take a drink. I've got to just grab my drink because it's on the floor. Here we go. Take a drink. And also, we see two of them hop out of the car without using the door. So that's 2 drinks or 1 big one.
Well, they're doing that thing. Again, this is actually a very American thing. But mostly because you don't really get, like, convertibles over here. The weather doesn't support them.
I was going to say it's because it rains 90% of the time. It's basically like the weather over here can flip. My understanding is it's like your Pacific Northwest American listeners. You know, like Portland.
I always enjoy using the term "your" and that kind of thing. Always remind me, I would not give up McLean for all the gold in your foot knocks.
Well, America, to a lot of the world, it's an alien place.
Well, again, this is the thing, like, when I was on... we were both on for American Graffiti Minute, separately, but, like, you probably had the same experience of, like, a lot of those people on there were American. They were like, oh, that's cruising around the town, and, like, yeah, people just hanging out in their cars and stuff like that. It's, like, completely foreign concept to me. And the way they're sitting with, like, a convertible, and everyone's just kind of, like, a guy kind of half hanging off the side of it and stuff. All of this is like, no, people wouldn't do that. And if they were on a group, people would just be crammed into a little crappy car.
Yeah.
And they'd be desperate to get out of it as soon as they pulled up. There wouldn't be any of this kind of like, the car is the party. Like, this is just, you can just cruise around this all day and have a great time.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not a car person over here. Over here, you don't really have to drive, listeners. Like, it's a bonus, but you don't have to. And also, there's the weather problem. And the roads, because our roads are very, very old. So they're very windy. They go all over the place. I think if I was in America, I would probably learn to drive because it's easier. You've got automatics. They're more readily available. The roads are straight and also like convertibles. I can see the appeal of hanging out with your mates like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it here because it'd be awful. But if I was in America, I think I probably, if I was a young person, back in the day, I probably would do it.
You see those things of like, even just in basic films of those like people, hanging there. You always get sometimes, usually in Quentin Tarantino films, quite frankly, but you'll get a shot of a young woman with her lying sprawled across the back seat or even in the front seat, and there's her feet hanging out the window of the car.
That sounds horrible.
And that's just over here. It's no, you wouldn't be. If you tried that in someone's car, they'd be like, "What the hell do you think you're doing? You're mistreating my car. This is abuse of the vehicle you're in. You could crack the glass or something. You chip something.
Yeah,
this is insane." But
but I mean, I get it. It's like halfway between a car and a bike, almost. Like you're feeling the breeze in your hair. I understand.
It's only acceptable in that one bit of The Dark Knight where the Joker's escaping and he's half hanging out of the car, getting the wind in his hair, because that's a cool moment. But if it's just if it's Mia Goth and X, I'm just you're a beautiful woman, Mia, but get your goddamn feet in the floor, okay? Miami Connection. Just in a very minor way, because we were, a bit troubled by the that whole 2 bombs weren't enough t-shirt the last minute.
Jesus, I'm still not over that.
I just noticed there's kind of weird metal crucifix looking thing.
Yes.
I think it might. Yeah, it was a bit sort of I'm hoping that's that's more of a telegraph pole or something that's going on there, because it's a bit. It looks like it's been held by someone rather than it's stuck in the ground.
I was a little bit concerned. I was scouring all of this as well for anything untoward.
Yeah,
I didn't pick out anything in particular though that was definitely bad.
Yes.
Again, listeners, I do not want to tar all bikers with the same brush. It's just there is an element of right-wing feeling for some reason with bikers, which is odd. I don't really understand it.
That's also just all the America, the t-shirts and stuff.
I think that's it. It all kind of blurs together, doesn't it? Where it's freedom. And it's but people who really go on about freedom tend to be weirdly against freedom.
Well, it's freedom to be racist. That's
the thing. They want the freedom to persecute people. Yeah, not bikers. Yeah. Let me say that. I'm talking about these people in particular that we are discussing.
Yeah. Although, again, weirdly, they all seem to be getting on with Yoshido great. There's a bit later on. He goes in and he gets a kiss from the lady behind the bar. It's kind of he seems to be very at ease with these people, and they seem to have a great time with him.
Well, that's what makes me think maybe these are the good ones, so to speak. Even though that guy was wearing that T-shirt, maybe Yoshido bought him that T-shirt for a joke or something. Or maybe he knows Yoshito, the character, and he thought, you know what'll be funny if I fucking wear this shit. He's winding his mate up,
Yeah.
It could be something like that. Although Yoshito seems a bit, when Jeff gets out of the car and he's he comes up to him. I thought Yoshito's initial reaction, he seemed surprised and not in a good way. Is that what we're supposed to read from this? He's oh, for fuck's sake, Jeff's here. I'm trying to have a fun time, and Jeff's turned up.
Yeah, I got that vibe too, where he had a kind of thing of this is Yoshido's, it's day out with the lads.
Yeah.
And then he's oh, goddamn, Jeff's here.
This guy again.
He's hey, Jeff, how's it going, buddy?
We've all been through this with people. I'm always too polite to say anything, but there is the occasional person where I'm oh, God, jeez.
It's just probably I didn't even know what was going to be here. God damn it.
Yeah, he didn't tell him. And it's back in the day, you couldn't find him on Facebook and Instagram saying where he was going.
Yeah. I guess it would be oh, yeah, that one biker gang with the one Japanese guy in there.
Yeah, there can't be many.
Yeah, and Jeff's what? Japanese guy? That's got to be him.
Well, maybe it's just because I thought Jeff here, he looks very casual, right? This is a new outfit for this guy. In fact, the dude behind him seems to be wearing his clothes.
Let's see. I think maybe in Jeff's gym, it's oh, no, we all trade clothes. It's
they have. The guy immediately behind him when they get out of the car, he's wearing a Jeff outfit.
Well, the thing is, because Jeff's cap is so doesn't fit the Jeff we know.
Yeah.
So it could be that, this is a thing of maybe there was a kind of laundry day mix-up or something going on where he's got this guy's outfit, that guy's got his outfit. Or maybe they're oh, this will be a hilarious joke to play on Yoshito to see if he says anything. And then he just didn't. And Jeff's just
Oh, he was trying to get a rise out of him.
He's like, you don't think I actually went to the Colorado Homeward Bound thing? Well, not Homeward Bound, Outward Bound.
Homeward. Oh, what a movie! But it's not even just the hat. I mean, the hat is the key to the whole ensemble, but it's everything. I don't know. He's wearing like Adidas. Sorry, Americans, Adidas. Even though that's not the name, you're wrong. It's Adidas. He's wearing like Adidas trousers and like a weird sleeveless shirt, like our friend Gaz. And it's like, this isn't Jeff.
No, we have seen him in many a sleeveless shirt.
Sleeveless shirt, but like this.
Yeah, but never joggers, as you call them over here.
No, he's very casual.
It feels like it's Jeff blended with like a female golfer or something. Like it's this, but even this little maneuver that Jeff does, he does a little kind of jaunty bounce down from. That doesn't strike me as a very Jeff move either. Like
he's in good spirits, isn't he?
Maybe he is like he's aware, like, oh, this is my day off. Like I'm not wearing my office clothes with my combat boots and my earring.
That's his fighting gear.
Yeah. He's like, no, I'm here in my tracksuit bottoms and my beloved cap that I got from my alma mater.
Oh.
And he goes over and they do a little old school that what do you refer to that, like, it's not a high five, but that hand clasp. There must be an official term for it. Like I used to refer to it as the Tango and Cash, but this predates Tango and Cash.
Yeah,
so,
I've never really thought what it's called. I do that to people. That's my move, because a handshake, it's formal, but a hug is too personal.
Yeah.
So I'll do that hand clasp thing, and then if we're both feeling it, I might go in for the hug. There's like a tension.
But I still always I'm making my way slowly again through The Sopranos, and I love that show. But you might recall, John, way years ago, I had a Sopranos party.
I remember this, like it was yesterday.
Yeah, and everyone got greeted with the Sopranos bear hug.
Yes,
which is just grabbing people and then just doing aggressive back pats.
Oh yeah, you've got.
Yeah, that's just the point. Like, you must be hurting the person by doing that. But like, now we're watching it again, it's like, yeah, I don't like hugs, but if it was socially acceptable to do that every time and just be like battering people's backs while you're hugging, I was like, yeah, I would try that, but I would never actually do it to someone, because if you did it without them knowing what you're going for, they would think you're attacking them.
I sometimes do it as a joke when I'm with the band, because I'm dressed all femme. And people are like, "Oh, hello, Cantina," and I'll just go in for a really manly, like, just so confused.
That was kind of because Jeff's got such a hairiness about him that he's just hairy. He seems like a bear hug type because he's so bearish in his fur covered nature but even everything about Yoshido though. Yoshido's a dark horse, man. Like he's got this. His whole thing is just like, because he was so strict with the where's the money and like the showing people how to friggin' crack bricks into with a big fire coming out of it. It's like, this guy must be high level ninja master. And then we find out, like, no, he actively says, like, I don't want to talk business. I'm just here to have fun, hanging out with my potentially racist biker mates who I go to this, backwater tailgate shithole. And this is what I do. And now, Jeff, you're here. You're bringing down my vibe with your reminding me that the outside world exists. I don't want to think about business.
Yeah, like I get that vibe from him, which is it's a bit weird. I don't know, because poor old Jeff. I'm on Jeff's side for once. He just wants to greet his mate. He's dead excited to see his friend / lover.
There's an entire chapter on Yoshido for this novelization, exploring why he's like this, though. Is he a guy was he raised in extremely strict circumstances back in, because the character is Japanese, right? Like he's a Japanese character.
The actor's not, but the character is.
Yeah. But so he might have grown up in immense strictness, and then when he fled to the U.S., he just embraced this, like, he saw the bikers, like, this is it, this is true freedom and stuff, to just be gliding around on the open road with nothing but a babe in your arm and all this kind of thing. So he's just like, well, I know in order to maintain a strict army, you have to be, incredibly tight with your people. But, I also embrace this Americana side, and now this come to, You know, I'm just wondering like what Yoshido's backstory would be, and as to how he got to this sort of crosshairs of like, there's more. I am more. You understand? Like, I'm not just the one, which is kind of surprisingly nuanced for a movie of this caliber. Quite frankly, like they would usually have like, he's just the ninja. He's the Japanese ninja.
Yeah,
he is just that. But they're hinting at a much richer backstory for him here.
There are a lot of hints about things. I think, like because we're saying how he's a bit surprised, but there is like a change in him once they do this hand clasp a la. Predator. You son of a bitch. It's that, basically. But once they do that, there's a slight shift in him, and he's got the right idea, where he's like, you know what? Let's not talk about business. It's fun time. Let's enjoy ourselves.
I've got my ascot on. Yeah. I'm ready to roll.
So he is shocked. Oh, Jeff see it. But he quickly goes, you know what? Screw it. Jeff see it. Let's just have a drink. Let's have fun. For an evil ninja gang boss, he's all right.
Yeah.
If you're going to have an evil ninja gang boss, you want Yoshito.
And it also seems, too, that, like, again, because has he brought any of his ninja gang with him?
No.
Is this Yoshido flying solo that he's just like, because we had the tough, we saw him riding amongst a group of guys, but it could have just been these guys.
I think it's these guys, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know if he has a thing where, like, oh, yeah, he keeps his, his army under lock and key, and they don't get out for any fun. But like, again, is he rejecting his old Japanese teachings of like, oh yeah, I was borderline tortured to get where I am, and now that's why I'm so in favor of all this American looseness? Or is he trying to infiltrate? Where he's like, oh, if I can pretend I'm one of these biker guys and I'm just one of the boys and stuff like that, then I can slowly start instigating my evil influence over them and turn them into an efficient machine that will become the ultimate ninja gang to rule all of Florida. Like, where's he coming from? I really want to know Yoshido's backstory.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's we've got to write it yet again.
Yeah, we have to write it. We have to after you have that and then Jim's backstory with we got all about his parents and stuff. We kind of got like. There's some intriguing character teases here as well.
That's the thing. People always say this is a bad movie. I think it's genuinely good, but also there's the seeds of something very, very good, like to a wider audience there. That there is genuinely a kernel of something great.
Yeah.
Like something bigger than it actually was,
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go to really formulate what is Yoshido's life philosophy. Like, what's his whole thing? Because it's just he's an immense cost. He's a man of multitudes. Is what he is.
While you ponder that, though, right? One of the greatest parts of the entire film happens next. To me, Barb. I love the way we just made up names for these people. She probably has a character name. I don't care. Barb. You see her pulling on a cord. And then we find out she's got Vader on a noose / lead. Or leash for you Americans. She's got Vader on a leash noose. And this is insane. Because I love how, in the scene, this feels to me kind of spontaneous. It feels like they genuinely just did it for a laugh, both as characters and actors. Like, wouldn't this be funny?
Well, this is the big question of the man is like, what the hell is happening here? Like,
it's kinky.
It's got the vibe of like, is it a kinky thing, or are Barb and Vader together?
I think she's like, I'm shagging you later.
Yeah, Vader, is this the new ship of Miami Connection?
Yeah,
we already had Jeff Shito or whatever we call it back.
Hey, well,
Jeff.
You know what? Just because he's a big guy doesn't mean he's a top.
No. But also, beyond that, though, it also has a slight vibe of, like, at last, the mighty Chewbacca. Like, she's bringing him in as a prisoner to be, like, to negotiate with the head of the club or something. Like,
well, that's the thing. But the smiles and laughs on their face, to me, it feels genuine. That doesn't feel like they're acting. It feels like she just put that around his neck as a gag. It was like, fucking come on.
Or also, too, like, because everyone's kind of laughing and cheering with him and, like, patting him in the back. It almost borderline comes across like this is like his bachelor party or something.
Yeah, it feels like the bikers are like, oh, you're going to get fucked tonight.
Yeah. Maybe that's maybe within the context of the film, they're like, yeah, this is exactly what's happening. It's not a business meeting. It's not just a random hangout. It's Vader's. Like he's getting married. Our boy's getting married.
Could be. Yeah, I could
Which
see
would be like make it even more tragic at the end of the movie when he gets killed. No, what about his wife?
I know. I'm kind of liking him. You know, he's not that bad. And look at that smile on his face. It's that smile of like, I'm loving this, but it's awkward.
Yeah,
it's that double thing of like, this is amazing and I'm embarrassed.
Yeah, there's no vindictiveness here. It's all like it's guys been dudes and dudes been guys, and everyone's just like, and even Barb there's having a good time. It's all in good fun.
Yeah, and he's clearly a little bit into it. Like, oh well, you know, Barb, if you want it, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, like I'm my headcanon. Yeah, this is totally Vader's. He's to be wed in the morning.
To Barb.
Well, I don't know, because when you invite your bride to be on your bachelor party, like I know some people who have.
Traditionally, you wouldn't. I would. That was always my kind of plan. Was like, well, I'll just have like a joint party because it's weird. Like, why do you need to gender your party? But traditionally, you would not do it. No.
Unless this is the wedding after party.
Oh.
And I think Barb is like, oh no, they have been wed, and now this is like the piss up afterwards. And this is his finest bandana. And that's why Jeff's wearing like different outfits, because he's like, well, this is the closest thing I've got to like I wrecked my. That's when he was out last night.
Yeah,
he was out there. That was the Coke party. That's why he got dressed up in his suit and his polo shirt for that. Went out and got wrecked. And then like, oh Christ, we have that fight in the morning. And then later on, he's like, oh Christ, the wedding's today, shit.
Oh no, I forgot. You can't forget Vader's fucking wedding, you pieces. Yeah. But you know what? Yeah, again, you know, these bikers, they are enjoying it too. That's the thing, because we know they're not actors, right? I know that they're trying to act, but they're not actors. It feels spontaneous. It seems like a genuine reaction from them of like joy. They're whooping, they're cheering, like, yay, this is a sexy, fun time. Barb and Vader, maybe they're going to bang. I don't know. She's the top. Yeah. They're into it. They think it's kinky.
And maybe this was to keep the real life bikers kind of in tow, because it's like, well, if you imply that you might lynch somebody, it'll keep these guys like, I'll keep them in check. It's like, well, you know, we got the nose ready for, you know, we'll do this guy. Come on.
Oh, they're all loving it. But you know what? Yoshito then asks the question of Jeff. Right? Get your drinks ready. He says, did you get rid of that group? Dragon Sound. He mentions the band. Take a drink.
Yeah. Also, just have to say, on a personal note, because these guys are, you know, Jeff there, he's like, okay, yeah, fun time, clicking fingers, like, yeah, we'll go for some drinks. Mm-hmm. I do have to say, everybody knows it, but I might as well point it out. Day drinking is the best. Like, it's just it's such a pleasant experience to be out in the middle of the afternoon. It's sunny, and you're just like, you know what? I'm just gonna have a couple of beers now. We're just hanging out, and let's see what happens. You know, the day is young. It might turn into something. It might not. But,
I think that's when I fully accepted that I was old. Is when I started enjoying day drinking. I was like, yeah, I'm old, and I don't care. It's fun.
But no, this is always a little thing too. It always has that kind of slight, you know, because some people are in work, but you're off, and it's kind of got a little bit of like, oh, I'm not really supposed to be doing this, but it's got a kind of like when the cat's away vibe about it.
That's why you all need to be alcoholics, because then it doesn't matter.
But yeah. So I'm assuming this is like a nice Tuesday that they're just taking off. Like, no, we're going for some drinks this afternoon, and you know, it's a crisp summer day, and we're all just going to enjoy ourselves. Although again, you know, it's in Florida, so I imagine they probably have a multitude of those kind of days.
Plus these, you know, these guys. Doesn't matter if it's Tuesday. They're bikers. They do what they want, man. They're free.
Yeah, but yeah, of course, as you alluded to there, John. Of course, we get after the whole thing of like, don't talk about business. I don't want to know anything. So how's our business going?
Yeah. Dragon Sound dead yet? Not yet. He says, you know, these guys are pretty tough guys, if you will.
Oh, well, no, too. Like, I got a slight vibe of like, is there a band in the corner that's been held prisoner who've just been told to play tough guys over and over?
Non-stop. You don't stop till we tell you.
There was a little gap there, as if they just collapsed from exhaustion, and then someone got a cattle prod out and was like, "All right, get going." And they're like, hey, "Tough guys, dude." Also, was like the you saw the. Have you ever seen the classic John Mulaney? It's not unusual bit.
Oh, I don't think so.
And John Mulaney's very famous American stand-up, and he has a kind of distinct way of talking that some people don't really like, but yeah, he did a good bit of stand-up. He does. That's sort of his party piece now. Really, is that apparently when he was a kid, he told the story about when he was a kid, him and his friends went in and put in like $17 worth into a jukebox and just made all the selections. What's New Pussycat by Tom Jones, and then just sat and watched to see what would happen as it just kept playing and playing and playing, and he just like details everybody's reaction because they're like, you go from thinking like, man, What's New Pussycat's a lot longer a song than I remember because it just doesn't really have an ending.
No.
And then the beginning just goes, What's New Pussycat? And so he just said like after a while, but the key of it was that like, in the middle you put one, It's Not Unusual. And so then when that comes on, like 6 plays in, people are like, oh, thank God, okay. And then as soon as, It's Not Unusual ends, you just get, What's New Pussycat? And everyone in the place was like, oh, for fuck's sake, and going and yanking the cord out of the whole thing.
Whoa.
But maybe there's a young John Mulaney in the background there, just put on Tough Guys 17 times in a row.
Yeah.
Be like, let's see what happens, baby.
Apparently a lot of jukeboxes now are controlled via app. So you can install the app and control it when you're not even in the pub. You can be like, 5 minutes up the road and just wind people
Well, so you can't, you don't even have to pay anymore, though.
No, you've got to pay, but people don't mind. They will pay for the fun of annoying people.
Oh, okay. I don't think that'd be weird. Just like paying for a song in a pub, like it's. I mean, I guess you're doing it already, but I don't know why I find that little thing of like, oh yeah, you'll be paying from a card on your phone. It's like, I don't know. I don't mind it when you're like looking at the shrapnel, the random change you have, and you're like, yeah, I'll put on a song with that, but like. To actually then be like, I'm taking money out of my bank account to put in.
To me though, right? If it's money spent on a card or like digitally or something, it's not real.
Yeah,
it doesn't exist. If I spend money on Amazon, I haven't really spent anything. It only counts if it's physical.
You kind of got that thing. It's just all unless you have it in like gold bullion under your bed. Like it doesn't count. It's like, it's just numbers on a screen.
Exactly. I don't care if I'm in debt. I don't care. What do I owe the bank? I don't know. Thousands. I don't care. I don't care because it doesn't mean anything, and it's not like they want it. Nothing matters to these people, and it doesn't matter to you. Die in debt. Who cares? Big whoop. What's going to happen? Nothing. You're dead.
They'll claw you back from the grave to make you pay it back.
Yeah, maybe if we're living in like a fucking future that's like altered carbon, where people just live forever, unless they destroy your stack. That was
we were talking last week about like the whole thing about like death has now been treated as a disease which can be inevitably cured kind of thing. I think that was in this show last week, and I saw a thing in the meantime that was like a headline, and then someone made a meme out of it where they're like, yes. People within the near future, people might live to 200 and work till they're 150.
I love the way it's like you don't get to enjoy this long life.
Yeah. Someone just made the comment of like, I do not want to do that. Like, I would rather be dead than have to work till I'm 150. Yeah. Like Jesus Christ,
I would gladly live to 200 if I still retired at the same time. That'd be great.
That's what I always called in the question in Highlander, the Queen song, "Who Wants to Live Forever?" As if like, well, who would ever want to do that? That would be horrible. I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I'd rather not be dead. Frankly.
I mean that's the thing. I mean, we're joking, but ultimately,
but there's so much the philosophical thing of Highlander of like, but wouldn't you be lonely? It's like I just meet other people.
Well,
like,
that's the thing. I don't want to sound mean to my friends. I don't want to sound mean to you, and people that I know. But I would meet other people that I would become friends with. And in a way, doesn't that then in a way, make people say if you weren't immortal, it would make you immortal because your memory lives. I would tell them tales of Nile.
Yeah.
Things like this. So it's not... I actually don't think it's a bad thing. Yes, it would be heartbreaking. Like, oh, my friends are dead. But you would keep on meeting new people, making new friends. Doesn't make the old friends less relevant.
No.
Doesn't make old loves less important, So I would be happy to live forever, really. We could just podcast forever and ever like we are today.
No. But I mean, some people think these episodes are lasting forever. Get to the hat. We know you're leading up to it.
Well, we got bonuses now. But yes, back in the minute. Jeff then says something, which I love. He goes, that Korean guy, Mark, is the toughest of all.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
He's a black belt in Taekwondo.
Yeah. In the middle of the fights was Mark shouting out, I'm a black belt in Taekwondo, by the way, just so everyone knows.
Yeah, like what? Does he know that? Like, it's a bit weird. And it sounds... I know he's not said anything bad as such, but it sounds a bit racist. Pointing out he's Korean. It's like, did you need to point that out? Was it relevant, really?
That's the thing to Yoshito. I don't know if he's just like,
well, Japanese do not like Koreans and vice versa.
Well, there it is. He's like, this is going to really grind your gears now, Yoshito. He's Korean.
I mean, historically, they were very often like warring nations. Yeah. So I guess maybe that is an underlying, maybe that is a subtext that isn't really explored, is the Japanese guy and the Korean guy are at war.
Although, again, everything, because Yoshito and Mark don't cross paths till, like, way at the end of the movie.
No.
Like, he's so kind of like this has all been edited, but it could have been like, no, let's not talk business. It's time for fun. And then they've just been like, what about that band you had to destroy? Like, he's got nothing else. So he's like, didn't I send you to kill a band or something? Like... I told you, the fate of our entire drug empire in Florida depended on you killing some bands or something. I don't know. I was just trying to get you out of my house, quite frankly, Jeff. It was a trying time.
But did it work? Did you kill those guys? That's crazy.
And that means it kicks into the high gear, like, the Korean guy. Korean! You didn't tell me who's Korean. God damn it. It's like someone. It's like, you realize that's like me calling someone a friend, Jeff. It just sets me off. The way would you?
I think we have jokingly hit on something. I think that is a subtext of the movie. Japan and Korea are at war. And it's portraying Korea as the pacifists and Japan as the aggressor. Which traditionally was not always the case, but often the case. But then again, if I'm remembering rightly, let me quickly Google this. Oh, I am remembering wrong. So I'll leave this in a weird way. I'm remembering wrong. I was going to say, I believe the word kamikaze does come from a war with Korea, but it actually doesn't. It comes from a war with the Mongols, apparently.
Oh.
I thought it was with the Korean War. But it means heavenly wind. Because apparently, I mean, I don't know how true this is. But apparently, like, Japan was saved at the last minute by, there's an invading fleet coming, and this big wind came and, like, blew all the ships away and helped win the day and save Japan. So that was what in World War II, that's why they called them kamikaze. It's like, you're the divine wind. You're gonna blow the enemy away, kind of thing. I thought it was with Korea. It's actually with the Mongols, apparently.
It's but yeah. I was trying to say, like, going into just and another film could have set this up properly, because, like, no offense to them, but it probably was just like, this is just clunky dialogue where they're going like, yes, that Korean guy is a black belt in Taekwondo.
Oh, it's all added in post. Yeah.
Oh, it's all ADR. Yeah, 100%. But also, there could be a little thing there, like, if it was a more tightened up, efficient movie, you would put a little thing in, though, that, like, well, how does Jeff know that? He didn't even fight Mark. He was sitting in the car. Yeah. But you would just have it be implied that Jeff's so good that he's like, he was just looking at Mark and he's like, those are Taekwondo moves.
He could tell. I actually think that is what they're trying to imply.
Yeah, he's doing it proper. Like, I know a black belt when I see one, and that guy is good. But it seems to me more like they're just like, yes, Grandmaster YK Kim is, of course, a black belt.
Who everybody knows.
He's awesome, though, haven't you heard?
I believe he has a school.
If you want to see some lessons, rewind the movie back 30 minutes. But yeah, I think it might have been, it would have been better had it been a bit more implied. That's like Jeff is just so like we've not seen Jeff in full flight yet. So we've seen what Yoshido can do, kinda, but Jeff is still kind of like, well, he pummeled John that one time, but he wasn't in a full on fight. But they'd be kind of implying that like, no, he's biding this time. Once Jeff needs to throw down, it's gonna be big.
I like that implication. Like Jeff maybe should be like, oh, that Korean guy Mark, he's the tough one, so I'm gonna deal with him. And then you'd be like, whoa, how hard are you, Jeff? Whoa.
And have it be that, like, by sight is like, I know Taekwondo moves, I know karate moves, I'm a master of several martial arts, and I know them by sight and stuff. So even when I'm sitting, like, hungover, like, sprawled in my convertible, I'm like, oh, that's the classic maneuver there. Yeah, no, I get that one.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. But yeah, and then there's the whole thing of, they come in. Again, Yoshino's so at ease. Like, he goes over and just smacks a guy in the back. Yeah. And the guy turns around with kind of like, what the fuck? Oh, it's Yoshino. Hey.
But this is when we see, and I'm going to sound very anti-American. We see a weird American pool, right?
Yes.
Freaks me out. 2 reasons, Americans. Sorry, I don't want to sound anti-American, really. But your pool freaks me out. Because your table's blue.
Yeah.
Why is it blue? It should be green. And why are there spots and stripes? That's not pool. They're red and yellow. There's no spots and stripes. You got red balls, you got yellow balls. That's it. Play proper pool. Pool is a classic English pub game.
Well, that's the thing is, like, when I think of pool, though, I always think of The Hustler, though. The Paul Newman classic.
Yeah, but he'll be playing this Yankee pool.
Well, that's the thing, though. Do we know for sure where does pool, the game, come from? So if it turns out to be an American thing, John, then you're going to have to go and beg for mercy from...
It probably is American, but I don't care. We're right. Let's have a look. Pool.
It's such a weird thing. The pool origins is like, do you mean what a pool is? Like, no, what is a goddamn...
Oh, okay. Hang on. It descends from an English game imported to the US. So it's both. Oh, that's extra confusing.
Yeah.
But basically,
maybe
we're right.
in the Civil War, they were like, you guys can have the blue felt, we'll keep the green.
Green's a better colour. It's the best colour in the world. Why have you got stripes? It's confusing. They look the same.
I don't know, man. Well, like, in many ways, though, I'd almost support that. Actually, I have no horse in this race
have
at all.
Have you not played pub pool?
I've played pub pool several times. I'm terrible at it, but I've played it. But it's like, well, again, like we mentioned, golf, football, all these ones. They had, so many games are played on green grass. Why not mix it up and have a thing played on something blue? Like, let's go crazy.
I don't mind the blue, right? I can live with the blue. It's the balls. It's the blue ball. No, it's the ball.
We all hate blue balls.
We all hate blue balls. No, it's the stripes and the spots look the same, right? Americans, your table's fine, cool. Blue implies you're playing a different game to snooker. Okay, but we have red balls and yellow balls, right? And that's much more visually distinct and satisfying. So I think let's combine the two. Let's have the blue table with the red and yellow balls. I think that's the best middle ground because, again, blue table, at least you can tell on first glance they're playing pool, not snooker. So that's quite cool, right? The balls are too similar. I'm not into it. You could easily pot the wrong ball.
All this kind of thing, this always reminds me of the one thing that really bugged me in the Netflix Daredevil show was that, like, he knew which ball was which color and stuff. And it's just like, Daredevil, oh, he's blind, but he has, like, super level.
Yeah, but that's too much.
Sensory stuff. And it's all kind of like, no, it's all fairly believable to a point. And then they're just like, no, he can tell like that's an orange ball. And you're like, how?
Yeah.
And I brought up the comics fans, and they're like, no, he could probably tell by like he's felt every ball, and he knows the exact weight and density, all this sort of stuff. But it's like, yeah, even if he went over an individual, unless someone was there with him to go, this is the green ball, this one is the blue. Like, otherwise he would be like, how would I know that's orange? Like it's insane. It's insane. It's the one thing that really
is. It absolutely is. I always enjoy that character more when it is vaguely believable. Where you're like, okay, I can imagine a guy fighting like that blind. That's fine.
That's gonna be the one big thing. Like they got away with him in She-Hulk to an extent because it's like, it's a silly show and it's played for laughs and stuff. But they're bringing back this Daredevil under the Disney umbrella now.
Yeah, I'm concerned.
And it's like the main appeal of him was that you really felt like he was going through the ringer because every fight felt realistic.
Oh, and he absolutely got the shit kicked out of him.
Yeah, he was always on the ropes. He was always severely injured, and you felt it all, and you were really involved in it because you're like, this guy's going to get himself killed.
Yeah.
And then the first thing you saw of him when he showed up in She-Hulk was like he was zipping around like a CGI cartoon, backflipping off buildings and stuff, and like very much like that's not a guy doing that. That is a CGI model.
Yeah.
And you're just like, maybe don't bring it back then because I don't know if you're going to do it right.
I am worried. I am. I suspect it's going to be bad.
Yes, yeah, but we shouldn't get off track.
No,
we've still got Jeff's hat to talk about.
We do. We're gonna get there. We've done the weird pool.
We got
Yoshito. Yeah, he arrives at the bar and orders a beer.
Well, he does a beer that's already coming to him.
Already coming, and he sounds drunk already. There's a beer.
Oh, I wrote down he's perfected his Stallone impression.
Well, Stallone sounds drunk. It's not Yoshito's accent. I'm not being like
No, he's probably going like, hey, give me a beer. Like it's maybe it was the '80s. Everybody loves Stallone. He could be like, I'm a big Stallone guy.
Maybe the barmaid's called Adrian. Yo, Adrian, give me a beer.
There you go. Works perfectly. Yeah. Or maybe he's infiltrated the bikers by being like, yeah, I'm related to Sylvester Stallone. You do I sound like him, huh?
Like, yeah, he's a good guy,
I was like, I thought you were Japanese. No, I'm Italian. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm from Sicily, we just look a bit different.
I was like, well, he's got black hair, leather jacket. I guess he looks like Rocky, right?
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Yeah. And also, actually, is to say, American listeners won't get the reference at all, but the guy next to him at the bar looks exactly like Father Finton Stack from Father Ted. The guy who replaces Father Jack in that one episode, it turns out to be a proper sociopathic asshole. Looks exactly like him. It's weird.
No, that's finished me off. Fuck.
But yeah, there must be a lot of Bloody Marys going on because it appears there's a bottle of hot sauce on the table.
I thought that was just like because they did food. Like is that for like your hot dog?
Well, no, there's a couple of glasses around there with a kind of reddish liquid in it as well. It's almost borderline looks like carrot juice.
Yeah, true.
So I'm like, maybe it's really crappy Bloody Marys they're doing.
I can't see bikers drinking that in a day, but maybe.
Oh yeah, but I don't know. Wood bikers, again, if it's just like it's tomato juice and vodka. Like, get it in you. Like, don't forget the celery. Just give me tomato juice. That's a good breakfast drink. Like, it's just
no. I've tried. I hate it. I hate it so much.
I've known people in the past, but like back in the heady, student early 20s party days, a Bloody Mary in like a Sunday morning would be like perfect. That's it. It's helping you get over the waves.
I can't do it. I can't do it. It's the tomato juice, right? It tastes like you're just drinking passata. And passata's lovely when you're making a pasta dish. It's not lovely in a drink.
I'm not a big fan of them myself, to be honest with you, but I do have a weird thing with tomatoes in general where I can't take slices of tomatoes, I can't take ketchup.
Oh.
I hate all of that, except I will make my own pasta sauce from scratch with tomatoes. Because I'm like, well, I can deal with this, but for some reason, everything else is just like, oh, would you want some ketchup on that? Oh God, no, get that the hell away from me.
As a ketchup enjoyer, though, I can understand why you wouldn't like ketchup. That's fine. But You don't like slices of tomatoes?
No, can't. If you ever witness me in a restaurant scenario and I've ordered a burger, it will be like, I never say to them, don't put a tomato on it, because it always ends up in a thing, and most of the time they put it on anyway. But so you will always notice me going like, all right, having to take everything off, and then rummage out that, and then going to like whoever's next to me, do you want a slice of tomato? And surprisingly, a lot of the time, people are like, yeah, I'll take that.
I mean, if I ate meat, I would have your tomato off your burger. Obviously, it's touched the meat, so I can't.
yeah. It got me in a whole thing where like last Sunday, there's a friend of ours' birthday party. It was a big thing planned in the Love Lane Brewery for our friend Fabio. And I went there, and they're like, "Oh, we got all this food here pre-prepared," and it was just like hot dogs with mustard and ketchup on them. I'm like, I'm not touching that. Jesus Christ.
It's lovely. You've got to have both.
Yeah.
Yoshito at the bar here, right? He's so pissed. Drunk to you Americans. He's so pissed he even begs for a kiss from that barmaid. He's like, oh, come on, kiss.
Yeah. She's right there ready. She's ready with his beer in advance.
Yeah.
And also, maybe she saw that Jeff was there. He's like, he's going to need it.
I have seen once a bar do this. It was at the Rebellion Festival a year ago as of recording, so 2022. Because it was so busy, like the outdoor stage we could have like 10,000 people or something. But I think when we were performing, there was like 4,000, because obviously we're not that big. But you go to the bar, they had the pints lined up already. And you said, oh, I'll have a pint of such and such. And they just grab one and go, there you go.
Yeah, no, I've seen it done.
Because they know it's not going to sit there for an hour. It's like, no. There's that many people. This is going to go in like a minute.
Yeah.
So they just prep them.
Yeah.
So the hat.
The Jeff's hat that we've built up the whole...
We've built it up, right? The only thing the hat says Colorado Outward Bound School.
Yes.
So I thought, well, what the hell's that? And I went on their website, which I imagine you did.
Yes. And surprisingly, as a 60-year running institution. Yeah. It seems to be quite famous.
Over 60 years. Cobbs, as they like to call themselves, has been delivering outdoor adventure programs for people of all ages and walks of life. That's a bit of a weird phrase. Students are encouraged to safely step outside their comfort zones, and they return home with the skills and confidence to embark on bold futures.
Yes. It looks like they basically take you on loads of hikes, and you go skiing at certain points, and it's kind of like you're learning while outdoors. It's a rough and tumble school where you were learning discipline and stuff as well.
They did do stuff like that here. I remember my sister went on something like this where she would like rock climb and things like that.
Well, that's the thing. It's an international organization, the Outward Bound program. And I've got some notes on the English one because there's some very unfortunate people associated with it.
Oh, what?
Yeah. That was apparently one of the directors of the Outward Bound, of the Ullswater version in England.
Wait, please tell me it was like Jimmy Savile.
It was exactly Jimmy Savile. Jimmy Savile, and was frequented by once Prince Philip, who went there with Jimmy Savile, which might not mean a lot to Americans, but like basically, imagine the scandal of Bill Cosby. Imagine if imagine if it was also with young children and dead bodies.
Yes.
That was the Jimmy Savile scandal over here. One of the biggest, he was dead at the time. But, he died, and then all this came out. And the reason it seems as if it too, because the BBC, he worked for the BBC. They blatantly knew what he was doing.
Yes.
They were keeping him safe while he was alive, and then as soon as he died, it was like, oh, by the way, you should know this beloved institution. This guy who's like an icon of our industry is one of the most heinous human beings.
He's a horrific paedophile and possibly fucked dead bodies.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely. And everyone knew Johnny Rotten, of course, classically mentioned it on TV. He referred to it back in like the 70s.
Yeah, in 1970, I believe it was 1977, I think. He didn't bring it up specifically, but he said I've heard some things about him, but we're not allowed to talk about that.
Exactly, yeah. I remember seeing people, what do you call that guy? The Paul Gambino? There's a guy, but not maybe Gambino's a gangster fan, but there's an American guy who works on a lot of BBC shows. Has done for like 30 plus years. And I remember seeing him. He was one of the guys talking about like, why is he going back into like the morgue and stuff? He goes and does all these things at hospitals, and then they just let him go into the morgue, and then
weird.
like, and then the people are saying like, yeah, don't question it, like don't ask why he's going in there. And it's like it's because he's doing stuff to the bodies. It's like So Jimmy Savile, one of the most Republican people, and then if you go on any account about the Outward Bound program in England, there's people writing accounts of like, oh yes, I was assaulted at this, and I was tortured at this, and I was like, it's one of the most horrific things. But again, it's a public institution in England that was had Jimmy Savile as a major figure in it, and also the royal family keep popping up,
and they were friends with Jimmy
everywhere.
Savile, strangely.
Yes, so they say, oh, Prince Andrew's been there, and Prince Philip's been there. Everyone knows what Prince Philip was up to as well. But
this is a shame though, because the idea of the program is good.
Well, that's the thing. People even notice too, like it's got the same architectural layout as Epstein's Island and everything. It's just like, and of course, the royal family knew Jeffrey Epstein.
They're friends with them as well. Yeah. Strange how you could maybe let them off with being friends with one dirty fucking weird paedophile. Turns out they were friends with many.
Yeah, that's why every time my dad will go like, well, I think those royals might be up to something behind the scenes. They all that Prince Andrew stuff, and I'm just there like, look. I've known my entire life. I've just assumed that they're like, yeah, of course they're doing horrible stuff because they're rich and powerful and they come from like an inbred friggin' decades, centuries long monarchy. Of course they're doing weird crap. But
do you think Jeff, the character, did he go to the Outward Bound school? Or did he work there? Or did he just get this from a second-hand shop because it looked cool?
Well, you could also be wearing someone else's, someone else on his gang went to the Outward Bound school.
You're right.
Yes, went to the Homeward Bound school for cats and dogs making their way home. It's weird though, because one of my notes as well was like, does he think this will impress the bikers as well? Because it's like, oh yeah, it's like a rough and tumble school where like it's all about like going out and being tough and da 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 da. But bikers won't regard that as tough. They'll be like, oh, you went to like some friggin' like lame outdoor school where you went skiing and like learned to talk to the trees and stuff like that. Get out of here, you goddamn wimp.
Yeah, they would hate that. They would think that was lame.
Yeah. I like looking into the school itself though, because if you look it up, it's got a lot of affiliations apparently. People say, and they even have to on their official YouTube page. I looked at one video, and they have a thing about 7 myths that we have to break down about the Outward Bound school. One of them is that it's only for bad kids,
and it's full of pedos.
Well, that's the one thing they didn't address because they're maybe like, well, we can't lie to you. So, but one of the things like a major myth about it is that that's where you send like troubled youth.
Yeah,
is to the out, and it teaches them. It's like sending them to military school basically.
Yeah,
and so from that angle, I can imagine Jeff being at it because
maybe he did go. Yeah, maybe. We never really got a family, but maybe it was like the school made him go there. Kind of.
Yeah, like well, I suppose his whole family's dead.
Yeah,
as Jane.
So
elaborated
then
on
maybe
earlier.
that made him a bit of a troubled kid at school, and they were like, you know what, you'd benefit from this program.
Yeah, and then you go there, learn like toughness, discipline, etc., and that's why he come in with this attitude of like, Jane, you got to concentrate in school and get rid of this loser boyfriend because you have to. That's why he's so in that mindset.
Yeah,
it's because that's what they taught him at the Outward Bound school, is to be like, make sure that live to your full potential and keep the thing. It might not be fun, but you got to keep to the work because that's where you got to get to your goals and all this kind of crap. So I would believe that Jeff went there at some point in his life. Yeah,
I can believe it. I can believe. You know what? We'll delve a bit more into the school maybe next time.
He does. He also has a kind of. I'm sure the actor went there. Like, I think that's probably him trying to be like, that's right, I mean, this is my alma mater, you understand? It'd be him going like, I was a little plug there from the best times of my life were out there at the, Although, again, not for everybody, because I went like, maybe I'll look into more of them for next time, but like some of the comment sections under the video promoting the whole thing. Where like one of them was like, "Oh, I spent some time there as a kid and had a horrible experience. Mostly because I became the pack mule for the group, and our counselors couldn't figure out how to keep the water clean, so they resorted to using iodine and water and then mixing it with orange powder, which caused everyone to be violently ill. Oh. So much so that me and the other kids had to sneak out at night to get lake water from a waterfall."
What?
And then all the other ones too are going like, "This sounds like it's like a boot camp," and people are going like, "Yes, it is a boot camp. That's exactly what it is."
Holy shit! It sounded nice when I went on the website.
Oh, like on that video, it makes it seem very nice. Where they're all like, "Oh, one of the myths is, pooping outdoors must be horrible," and there's some lady going like, "No, pooping outdoors is the best." Like sometimes you're pooping and a deer will come up to you. Oh, it's amazing.
Okay, that sounds horrendous.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm all for people being free and stuff and doing what you want. I want to shit in peace.
Yes. And then the people are saying too, like in that comment section, they're just like, "Yeah, you go there, you don't shower for like 2 weeks. Ugh. You'll be there." And then they're like, "Well, is that not horrible?" Oh yeah, one of the worst experiences of my life. But it did taught me things that I use today. And so, okay. So I was like, it just sounds like an endurance test more than anything, quite frankly. But again, though, you might come out the other side. It's just basically like a Nietzsche. Well, whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. It's like, but yeah, I'm sure. Like if I got shot, that might cause me to be a tougher person. But I'd rather just not get shot, quite frankly.
That's why I hate people who are like, things all happen for a reason. It's like, no. Sometimes things are just shit. Sometimes you don't learn and grow. Sometimes it's just crap.
I also looked into, because one of the things they tell you about is that it was founded by a guy called, what's his name? Kurt Hahn, who's he's a German guy, was born and raised in Berlin, came over to America in the mid-40s.
Why?
No, actually, he's actually a Berlin guy born to Jewish parents.
Okay.
Violently protested against the Nazis.
It's the other reason why you might. Okay.
Yes, he came over because he needed to get out of there, basically.
Okay, fair dues. Yeah, fair enough.
But they build him up. I just found it really funny because they build him up with like his philosophy. It's like, no, he had this thing where he believed that like all teenagers were at heart inherently good, and it's only society that corrupts them. So if you go out and teach them self-resilience and do this kind of tough love, like going out and just the children they become their best selves by going out and learning how to deal with everything by themselves and go through tough endurances that will toughen them to the harshest in their life. And then if they're out away from society for a little bit, they kind of get to found their own personalities, et cetera, and they're not influenced by all the bombardment of media around them, et cetera, et cetera. And you're like, oh, well, this guy seems like he was really, some kind of a cool guy who liked kids and stuff like that. And then he goes into like there's a section just called personality. And you go in and it's just like people talking about him going, he revealed himself as having a fierce temper, a strong hand with the cane, and a temperament which hated being crossed. Especially very damaging. It was his dislike of being defeated at any game. He was an avid tennis player, but it was an easily forgivable weakness that his opponents had to choose for being his inferiors, or else. If their form was unknown, instructed, not that they were told to just let him win. Basically,
Jesus Christ, let the Wookiee win.
Yeah. So it sounds like Jewish guy escaping the Nazis came over and he had this kind of like idea about like helping youth be their best selves.
You're on his side,
and then he finally but angry asshole who just got a bunch of kids to go out and hike through the woods all the time and beat the crap out of them, and they didn't do what he said
with a big stick.
Yeah. So the Outward Bound School. I'm not. It doesn't sound like it's for me.
Well, speaking of kids, my last note actually is the commentary track. Right, this is insane to me. Joseph Diamond says how Jeff's gang, like Barb and Vader and that. They are 16 years old.
Get out of here. No way.
That's what he says. And I'm like, that cannot be right. I would say like 24.
Was this film like digitally de-aged by Netflix or something? Like what?
He says 16.
There's no way that they're 16.
And he's like, they're not supposed to be hanging out with these bikers and so. No, hang on. No, they're not 16. I do not believe you.
No, Vader. Like Barb looks mid-30s.
Yeah.
You know, not saying that in a bad way. I'm mid-30s. I don't think I look old. But, like, Vader is a man. He's clearly like 28. Yeah. There's no way that he's...
Well, in a couple of months, I'm 38. He looks older than me.
Yeah. I mean, if that man is 16... Like, they raised him wrong, basically. Like, what the hell happened to him?
I cannot wrap my head around that sentence. And I listened to it like 8 times just in case I misheard him. Nope. He says they're 16 years old. They're not supposed to be hanging out with these bikers. But that's kind of part of the story, you know? And it's like, what? No. I'm sorry.
Was he getting mixed up with, like, the first Turtles movie where Shredder had an army of, like, children? And, like... That was kind of the whole point. Like, oh yeah, mini Sam Rockwell, baby Sam Rockwell, and all these children were the ninjas. That was the twist. And then he's like, oh yeah, that was the Turtles movie we made, right? It's like, no, you made Miami Connection, you idiot.
You fool.
That guy, these people who are clearly in their 40s, yeah. Although again, you know, in the 80s, it must have been all the, I don't know, it was all the sulfites and everything. And,
I could have bought it if he said they were 20. I'd be like, okay, maybe. 16?
No, you were going to tell me friggin', oh yeah, that bartender's 14. It's like, no way, this is not possible.
The bartender's like 52.
Yeah.
Yoshito, 48.
When Jeff gets killed, they'll be like, oh, he was just a kid. You know?
He had his whole life ahead of him. He was 40 years old.
Yeah, I mean, like the twist was supposed to be that like Yoshito regards Jeff as like, oh, he's like my little kid brother. Yeah, he's like
he's a son to me.
Yeah, he's like a really like, oh, he wants to get ahead in the world and stuff, and he's dying to grow up too fast. He's like, that man is like 52. What are you talking about?
He's a man.
Oh my god, no.
Apparently, they're the gang 16. I'm sorry, Joseph Diamond. I think you're a liar.
Yeah.
Or you're misremembering. Let's be nice. You're misremembering.
What age was he? Let's open up a whole other goddamn. Yeah, I made Miami Connection when I was 12 years old.
yeah, he's a little kid. I was just about to become a sophomore.
I tell you, man, that Florida sun is harsh, I guess.
That's what it is. Yeah, it leathers you. You look like Hulk Hogan by the time you're 20.
Yeah. Or maybe Vader went to the Outward Bound school. That's what it did to him. Oh. He got back. He's like, oh, he went out like a spry 16-year-old with a glint of hope in his eye. He came back as Vader. Like, I'm assuming he's wearing that bandana. I'm assuming there's not much hair under there. Like,
I'm assuming he's balding, right?
Yeah. I think you guys, it strikes you as a guy, let's be gracious, our age, maybe.
Yeah.
Who's like he's lost hair, so he's adopted.
Are basically bald. I can grow a bit, but it's embarrassingly terrible.
Yeah, and he's doing the Hulk Hogan technique of like you wear a bandana, but you know they're now telling me he's 16. Like no way, no, that man definitely has been inflicted with male pattern baldness. Like you know,
even if that was the case, he's not 16.
No.
Look at him. Look at the guy. I'm sorry, Joseph Diamond. You're wrong. You're a liar. You're a liar. I'm calling you out right now. Come and defend yourself on the show.
The one reason we get him on. Don't mention anything else. We get him on for like 2 minutes. They'd be like, "You're right. You're wrong about that." No, I'm right. No, the hell with you. You're wrong.
They're 32. They're not fucking 16. Fuck you. Oh Jesus! But that is my final note for this one.
Yes. So I'm sure it will be cut down, but in 1 hour and 40 odd minutes.
Yeah, this is going to be a hell of an edit.
Yeah,
you're going to get a lot of bonus material, listeners. Go if you would like bonus material, head over to the Patreon. Bonus stuff for all of our shows. That's on the $1 a month level. So for $1, you get bonus material. For $2, you get bonus episodes.
Ooh.
Whole episode, and there's loads to choose from already. But if you would like just the cut stuff from these, and we don't cut things to make you pay. We literally cut stuff that's completely irrelevant. That's the idea. All the nonsense we talk about that doesn't fit the episode, that's going to go in these. So
yeah,
if you just want to hear us, in the flow, it's $1. That's nothing. It's not even a coffee.
Yeah.
It's like what is it like? A Monster energy drink.
I was going to say a bottle of Lilt, but they don't call it Lilt.
No,
anymore,
now what is it now? Fanta tropical or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
it's something shit.
I thought talk about things though that like. I don't know, because there's that. Do they still have that website where like you can pay people basically for like a cup of coffee?
Yes,
as
coffee.
Like your contribution.
We have one, and nobody's ever given us any money.
But I've always referred to it as Ko-Fi. I know that it's supposed to be like it looks like it's saying coffee,
but the spelling,
I always yeah. So I was like, Ko-Fi, and I find out no, it's just called a coffee, and I found that a little disappointing.
Well, we have one for Batminute, and not a single person has ever donated to the coffee.
That's why we're so goddamn decaffeinated.
That's what it is. We've had 8 page views in 6 years. To be fair, we have never promoted it except for one post I did when we set it up 6 years ago.
I mean, we could have been swimming in lattes over here, John. We just said, but
they've got loads of new settings now. There can be you can connect it to your Twitch and everything. I'm going to look into this afterwards. But if you would like to talk to us, we are on Facebook at the Miami Minutes Taekwondo Orphanage. Find us everywhere. Just put in Miami Minutes. We're Twitter, Instagram, Threads. Did I make... No, I haven't made a Blue Sky yet. I'm going to make a Blue Sky when I get another invite that I can use. But basically, most social media. Mastodon, I think... Did I make a Mastodon? I think I might have done. If there is a social media platform you would like us on, let me know. And shout out to our one listener on YouTube. Everyone listens to us on Spotify and iTunes and stuff, but there's still that one guy holding out on YouTube. You're fucking great. You're fucking great. We put them on YouTube for you. I was going to stop the YouTube thing, but you came along.
We can't now.
Can't now. We're doing it for you. If you would like to switch over to iTunes or Spotify or something, please do and let me know, and then I can stop the YouTube thing. Because it's a bit of a hassle. But yes.
No, we can't now, though, because then if anyone in the future looks it up on YouTube, they'll be like, oh, they opted out at minute 52 or something. You're like, no, we kept it going.
That's true. I've got to at least finish the show. But, find us on all of those fucking things. And then join us again in 1 week for more Miami Minutes. Tiny beers again. Where are the pints?
Listen to me.